So the first one is Mr. Vinay Kumar Singh, who is the Managing Director of National Capital Regional Transport Corporation. This is a company under the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. He's an officer of the Indian Railway Service of Engineers and a postgraduate of IIT Delhi. Hi. He has previously worked under various capacities from duty chief engineer in Delhi Metro Project to executive director in the Railway Board. And now I would like to give the word to you, my panelists. So please use this time to do a short introduction of your company, your organization. It would be nice if you could cover the geographical area your company is covering, the network length, if it's applicable, or number of stations. So maybe Mr. Singh, you could start this dialogue.
So thank you, Lisa, for giving this opportunity to discuss something we are excited about and we are doing day and night. Presently, the regional rapid transit system, which we are implementing for the National Capital Region of India, which is Delhi and around Delhi. This is a rail-based system which is being implemented. This is presently in construction stage. Very soon, we are going to start the operation, maybe in next 10 to 12 months. The total program is of 8 corridors. But presently, we are working on 3 corridors. Each is about 100 to 150 kilometers, radially coming out of Delhi. This is rail-based system with a design speed of 180 kilometers per hour. And finally, for a customer, the average speed will be almost like 100 kilometers per hour with all these stoppages. The first 3 corridors constitute a program worth about $15 billion. And we intend to implement it in next 5 to 8 years. So this is broadly what we are doing presently. We are affected by the COVID that we can discuss little later, but we are not in the operation as of yet. Thank you.
But was it correct that you think to put the first train on tracks in 18 months? Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, very soon we are going to start the operation, most probably in the current year itself.
Okay. Thank you very much. And Mr. Vinay Singh, I know that the RRTS is actually 3 times faster than Metro, but what are the other unique features of this project?
So exactly, Lisa, this is a semi-high speed, as we call it, system, which is much faster than the Metro. The inter-station distance as compared to Metro is much higher in RRTS. This varies anything between 5 kilometers to 10 kilometers. And average on a particular corridor varies from 6 to 7 kilometers. RRTS being a new product in public transport in India has invited a lot of attention. But what we are doing is not other than the technology, state-of-the-art technology, which we are bringing in for this kind of heavy rail system being used as a public transport mode. For the first time, we have brought in the ETCS level 2 signaling, the European Train Control System. And as we know that the present telecommunication backbone of GSMR is getting obsolete. So we have gone for LT, the 4G system as communication backbone, something which is happening across the world in the first project. Other than this, the new kind of track structure, prefabricated slab type tracks which are used for high speed and very high speed railway system is being used for RRTS, where the slabs are prefabricated in a factory-like situation and then installed on the viaducts. Other than this, a very unique experiment we are doing, very courageous, I should say. that on RRTS infrastructure in one of the cities, that is the Meerut, in about 20-kilometer stretch, we'll be operating the local trains also, like metro trains. So within those 20 kilometers, the metro trains will have stoppages every, say, about 1 to 1.5 kilometers, whereas the regional rapid transit system trains will stop at only on few stations without losing the average speed of the system. So in one way, there is a huge capital reduction and having the two systems simultaneously on the same infrastructure. Other than this, see, because this is happening in the national capital, so earlier systems, like Delhi Metro, the National Railways, or the airports within the India, within the national capital region and national capital, these were not seamlessly connected. So we have planned the system in a way that we could achieve very, very extensive, seamless, multimodal integration. So RRTS trains will be linking Delhi Metro lines, national railways, airports, interstate bus stations. So there will be a seamless interconnectivity between various public transport modes in Delhi and around.
Okay, yeah. That sounds very interesting and very innovative. Mr. Singh, how were you reducing the cost of construction of your project?
Yeah, actually, when we got the green signal from the central government to start the project, it was March 2019. And nobody knew that we are going to get stuck by pandemic. And when the pandemic hit us, the wave one, during the wave one in the country, we were in the planning stage. So we could do our procurement, the retail planning part, and other things, as was being explained by Sujata madam. But during the wave two, which happened in 2020, somewhere in April, May, June, that time the project was in full swing on the ground, and there were serious restrictions on the movement of people, machinery, and restrictions from many things, the supply lines, which were requiring the movement of material from international destinations in terms of some components or machinery, equipment. So we got a delay of anything between 3 to 6 months in various components. While on the ground, once the restrictions were relaxed a little bit, we started working with SOPs, very clearly drawn out SOPs, so that we can ensure the safety of engineers and the workers on the ground. And we could recover some of this time which we lost, but still some of the contracts are delayed by 3 to 4 months. But it doesn't mean the project is delayed, because we had some floats available with us in some of the contracts, which we started early. And I'm happy to tell you that we'll be able to commission the project, especially the priority corridor, which is supposed to be commissioned next year, March, maybe well before the scheduled date. The whole project is planned to be commissioned in March 25. And I hope there again we'll be able to commission it before schedule in spite of COVID impact. Some of the things which helped us was that we were working on electronic platforms. We were using technology in a big way, whether it was use of BIM, the building information modeling, so that the designers could collaborate wherever they were during the COVID, whether they were in various cities of the India, or many of them sitting in Europe or in Asian cities. So use of BIM, common data environment, that helped us a lot in finalizing the drawings, design, the approvals, the documentation, that helped us a lot. And we could contain the impact of pandemic on the project, and we'll be able to commission the project as scheduled.
Okay. So assume you didn't experience any shortage or migration of workers if you can even open a project earlier than planned.
Yes, I can say yes, we could do it, but this was due to timing of various activities in the project, and some of the measures, strategic measures we had taken to reduce the risk on the project, risk mitigation measures we had taken in time. But certainly, pandemic was really bad for most of the projects which we are witnessing in last 2 years.
Okay, thank you very much. And Mr. Singh, with this pandemic affecting the public transport usage, what learnings do you draw for ensuring long-term financial sustainability?
For the first time, we understood that how much impact this kind of pandemic can make on the public transport users. And already, we know that this kind of public transport system, especially the rail-based ones, which are highly capital intensive, are not financially sustainable. Like our other colleagues from America and Spain, they are telling that there is a concept of subsidy. There is a concept of providing availability fee. So if the services are available, the treasury or the local government will pay for that. But presently in India, there is no such concept. The capital expenditure is subsidized in a way that government pays a part of it as part of the equity, but whatever is the debt, it has to be paid back by the company, like my company, which is NCR Transport Corporation. 60% of the capital expenditure, which is coming through multilateral financing, is to be paid back by us. And if we are not able to pay that, that means now you have a debt standing on your books. Now, knowing very well that the system itself from the fare box revenues is not financially viable, we have to make strategies from the day one for having some revenue earning through the non-fare box route. Now, here again, the challenge is that while the government money is easily available for the main system construction, but not that easily available for any kind of investment which can generate non-fare box revenue. If to say it simply, any kind of commercial property development. So commercial property development in urban projects which are being constructed in dense urban environment where the land cost is already high, or if you are going into an area where the land is cheaper, but the acquisition of land as per the present government regulation is very, very expensive. You can purchase land in a commercial transaction at a cheaper rate than acquiring a land through the government procedure, as per the act, where you have to pay more. Because this is the way government wants to compensate the landowners in compulsory acquisition. But if you see from the commercial viewpoint, the moment you pay more for acquiring the land, any kind of commercial exploitation of that will be much more expensive than what is available to another commercial property developer at a much cheaper rate. So there's a contradiction in the whole concept itself. But we have to understand that it is only through the non-fare box revenues that public utility owners like metros or regional rapid transit system, we have to create ways and means to earn a lot of revenue through non-fare box revenues. And this is the only way probably we can create resilience in the survival strategy or in the system itself. So we have to plan and we have to take actions accordingly. While I am sure that given the requirement of public transport or requirement of mobility in India in general and National Capital Region in particular, we are not afraid of ridership per se, in spite of the COVID. The moment the pressure of COVID will go a little bit, you will see that the ridership will bounce back much more easily than in developed countries, whether European or American cities. So in India, we are sure that ridership will come back. Certainly, some dent will be made by the psychosis of pandemic, but not to that extent. So hopefully we will sail through. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, Mr. Singh, what do you have to add?
So two, three small points. First thing which fascinates me when I travel to some countries or advanced metro systems is multimodal integration. This is something which Indian cities have to learn from our partners, our friends who have done wonderful work in this. I know that still cities like Madrid and Berlin, and still they are working on further integration of the various modes of transport. But where they are today, we have to do a lot of work in that direction, and especially as Guzman was saying that a centralized agency, a single transport agency, which is generally the model in most of the international cities, that helps in this. India has started working on those lines. We are talking of a single body, single transport body, which can do the integrated planning and control the operations. This is something we have to learn and implement seriously. We as National Capital Region Transport Corporation, we have started doing some work in this direction, especially in Delhi. There is a central government, there is a state government, there are local bodies, there are different other agencies, and sometimes they work on cross purposes. The integrated thinking for the transport is now emerging, but presently this is almost like absent. So the second part which we were discussing was regarding the bouncing back of ridership. So if you see the statistics which were explained by Guzman, 3.5 million people, 350 kilometers of network, 300 stations, you imagine. For Delhi, we are only 200 million. 20 million. 20 million in Delhi, 350 kilometers of network with the regional rapid transit system coming, which is a commuter train system, will be around 700 kilometers with about 450 stations. Still, if you see the density of this network or the mobility network is much less than what is being already available in Madrid or many other cities. So that is why I was saying that it is much easier to get the ridership back in Indian situation, because it is not only the rail-based public transport. The bus-based public transport is also not in very good shape. So this is kind of a situation where the availability of the public transport supply is much less than the demand. And any rail-based system, the kind of safety, the kind of punctuality, the kind of reliability and pricing of tariff which it provides, it attracts a normal office goer or somebody who is moving due to any other reason, business or hospital or education. So the chances of bouncing back to public transport are very, very good in Indian situation and in big cities in India where we have introduced the metros. I'm very, very confident about this part of it. And the project, as far as project is concerned,
there is an emergency. Wait for the instructions.
So the project implementation part, I'm happy to share with all of you that there probably we are very good in implementing the project. The speed at which we are implementing metro projects is much more than the standard construction rate of about 10 kilometers per year. In our situation, sometimes we are doing more than 20 kilometers per year kind of pace of construction. And this is against the similar constraint now available in India also. There are activist groups, there are people who would not allow you to cut the trees, or even in spite of having all approvals in your hand, people may not allow you to work in the night because there is a sound, or those kind of constraints which are in developed countries now in India also. So in spite of this, the way Indian systems are constructing the projects, I'm happy that this is something we can be proud of. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Singh.
So one question to Chennai Metro and NCRTC both, that what are the plans to increase non-fare box revenues in order to support deploying more innovative solutions in Indian metro system? And based on the reports, the fare box revenue alone might not be able to provide them full return on investment for system integrators or financial institutions. So basically, they mean that how can we make this more attractive for financial institutions to invest through non-fare box revenue initiatives by which the metro also earns. So this is to both the Indian speakers.
Yeah.
Quickly, I will tell you what we are doing. We are doing working on 2-3 strategies. One is that we, with the local government, that is the concerned state governments, we are going for land value capture instruments, tools which are being created wherever it is not available through the statutory changes, through the change in the local law. And the money which will get collected through these tools will be shared between the state government and us, which is the authority which is implementing the project. That is number one. And number two, we are exploiting some of the land which is available or the areas within the stations for monetizing such development, monetizing such commercial development. And in some cases, we are going for all the traditional ways of non-fare box revenue collection, whether it is advertisement or the train wrapping, station naming rights, the pouring rights, so many other those traditional ways through which we can probably enhance our fare box revenues.
Well, as far as
non-fare box, non-fare box. Yeah.
Again, a question to NCRTC is, would NCRTC go for PPP model in operation and maintenance? Follow-up question again on this is that you are launching in 10 months. Is the maintenance planning complete?
Yes, the second question first, the maintenance planning is in place, and we intend to go for a maintenance and operation O&M contract, for which the bids have already been invited. We are in the process of finalizing the bid. This will be a very comprehensive maintenance and operation contract to be done by some reputed operators who have adequate experience of operating such kind of systems already.